They've got the 4 best three-point shooters in the game. And he missed it. Gotta hurry. Connolly, 5 to go. Lewis has been awesome. Lets it go. He ties it at 62. 2 seconds to go. Lavender, 3-quarter court. And we're going to overtime in Lexington. College basketball. CBS Sports. This is March Madness.
Hello, and welcome to We Don't Know Ball, the sports podcast where we don't know ball and neither do you. My name is Santi, and with me as always is my co-host, it's Dugan.
Hi, everybody.
How we living?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
That's good.
Things are finally coalescing in sports that I watch, except for basketball. But everything else is coming together.
I am still, I'm in the grieving period of the NFL season. So my whole life at this point is just like refreshing the free agency tracker on ESPN.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we're finally on the brink of March Madness. So as we record this, the Selection Sunday screening is like 5 hours away or so?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's like 6 Eastern, something like that.
I think it's 6. I think it's 6.
Yeah, so we're
a little less than 5 hours.
Yeah, a little less than 5 hours away. And we'll get into all that, but yes, the first part of this show. Well, this is okay. So this is only episode 2 of the show, so we're still finding the rhythm here. But we're getting into the groove. The way this show works, we each bring a couple pieces of sports news that has happened over the last month, and we will go over those. And then once that's finished, the second segment of the show is going to be dedicated to a larger sports topic. So for this month, we will be talking about March Madness, which is the United States college basketball tournament, all-encompassing tournament. There's 68 teams or 64 teams, I think, in 64 total.
Teams. No, it's 68 because teams have to play for the 16th seed.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, 68 team tournament. Anyway, so we'll get into that at the end of the episode. But what we do first is we each brought a couple of sports topics that have interested us over the last month. So Dugan, would you like to go first with your first topic?
I started last time, so I think you should start this time.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. So just to kind of spoil my pieces here. I basically have 2 pieces of news. One is a fun kind of thing, and then the second one is just a list of NFL offseason things that have happened. And I'm just going to go through them, and we'll just talk about the ones that are interesting or have any impact on our individual teams at all.
Okay.
So that'll be a longer piece of news. But this first one I just thought was interesting. This happened close to a month ago now, but I just thought it was funny. The Yankees changed their facial hair policy.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so random.
I know. So apparently, and I kind of was vaguely aware that this was a thing. Since the 1970s, the Yankees have had a policy of basically all of their players and their managers and what have you, they cannot have facial hair. So they need to be clean shaven. They need to have short, kind of well-kempt hair. And as of February 21st of this year, they have finally overturned that. So the managing general partner, Hal Steinbrenner, stated that Yankees players, coaches, and other uniformed personnel are now permitted to sport well-groomed beards moving forward. So I just think that's interesting. It doesn't really have anything to do with the sport. It's just
I always found it really funny when a player who's famous for his facial hair would
Yeah.
join the Yankees, and then he just went clean shaven.
Right.
And it looks so weird.
As somebody with a baby face, my very thin facial hair is doing a lot of work on my face. So
We're in the same category here.
yeah. I can't, like, I am completely incapable of growing like an actual beard. All I can get is sort of this vague goatee, and then like once it gets too long, it becomes scraggly and gross, and I just have to shave it all off again. But
Yeah, we are in the exact same boat
Yes.
here, facial hair wise.
definitely, it takes about 2 or 3 years off of my age.
Only 2 or 3 years. I look like I'm 12.
Yeah. That's okay. But yes. So one thing I thought was interesting, I guess part of the reason that they overturned it was the general manager, or the general partner was worried that like players would not be willing to go to the Yankees because they wouldn't want to shave their facial hair. He's like, we don't want to miss out on like a, generational talent because,
Didn't they just build like a super team last season that made it to the World Series and then
Oh, yeah.
lost to the other super team?
yeah,
Like,
that's baseball. We talked about this a little bit last time, but what I think is funny is the idea that like if you're a, halfway decent, baseball player, like you wouldn't want to go to the Yankees, you'd be like, no, I don't want to go to the best team in sports. Like,
my beard's too precious for me.
my beard's too precious.
$20 million guaranteed. Excuse me, I have a beard.
Yeah. I don't want to go to the winningest franchise in sports history. Screw that. See, that's why, like, when people complain about, like, the NFL and, like, all the salary cap stuff, it's like, man, you could be in the MLB where there's 2 teams. there's 2 teams every year, and everybody else is just fighting for second place.
Everyone else is trying to knock off Goliath.
It's crazy. But yes, did you have anything else you wanted to say about Yankees players being able to have a beard now?
I don't know what much I can say because I'm just so used to the Yankee player. I was watching spring season with my dad, and a Yankees player walked up with a beard. I was like, oh, they haven't got him yet. And my dad turned to me and went, they changed that. I was like, oop, that man's gonna get fined.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. That's crazy. Like but what's funny to me too is that like it's only been since the 70s. I don't know why, that just, to me, that stunk of like, this has been since like the 1880s that they've had that policy.
That feels like it was instituted the first time the Cubs won the World Series.
Yeah.
1918, baby.
Yeah. Back when they had those big old baggy pants.
Yep.
No, it's only been since the 70s, which is I just thought that was interesting. But okay, what's your first piece of news?
Oh, this is a piece of news only I care about.
Okay.
Literally nobody watching this cares about it. But head coach of the California Redwoods of the Premier Lacrosse League, Matt St. Laurent, stepped down from his position.
Oof.
That's not an oof. I have been begging for this.
Oh, okay.
I have been begging for this. So, when I first started watching PLL, when I first started in 2019, Redwoods went 5-5, and then somehow had a miraculous playoff run, made it to the finals, and then lost to the Whip Snakes.
Okay.
The next year, they made it to the divisional round, lost to the Whip Snakes again in overtime, crushing. The next year, they lost to the Whip Snakes again, crushing. Ever since then, either they have been bad the last few years.
Yeah.
Like clinging to relevancy through Rob Pennell and Ryder Garnsey. They have just been bad, and they have been hemorrhaging good players since then. Drafting hasn't been bad, but they've been hemorrhaging their star like veterans.
Yeah.
Like Rob Pennell just left to go to the Whip Snakes. I am pissed. But his biggest problem as coach is he couldn't adapt. Like if his plan didn't work in the first half, he ran it the second half and it still didn't work.
Okay.
And if it did work in the first half, he ran it the exact same in the second half, and then it no longer worked. But he stepped down. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, obviously I think it's a good thing for the Redwoods. But at the same time, the Redwoods just had a negative like 30 something. Let me check the app.
Uh-oh. I think I lost you. Hello? Are you back? No. Oh.
I'm good for this once. Hey. I'm good for this once an episode. Don't worry about it. I'm on 2 different Google accounts.
I was gonna say, geez, I got you on 2 screens now. All right, let me remove fake Dugan. Goodbye. Oh, should I fill out an abuse report? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, remove. There we go. You're back.
Okay, yep. Let's see. Let's look at the 2024 season for them. They had a negative 32 score differential, which means that they were scored on 32 more times than they.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And they didn't even get the first overall pick. I am pissed. But hey, new era in California. Hopefully they'll be good. I think they retained Ryder Garnsey. Thank God. They've got some good rookies coming up. I love Jack Kelly, their goalie. He was fantastic for a few years. He no longer has it. Hopefully they do something. And yeah, I got nothing else on that except for that. I'm glad he's gone, but also thank you for keeping the team afloat for as long as you did. That team was hemorrhaging talent.
Yeah. Okay. See, so that is the most condensed amount of lacrosse information I think I've ever been given. I think definitely because let's see, what's next month? It's April. I don't know. When does the lacrosse season start?
June.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of
right now we're in the off season. We are free agency and trade windows have opened up. So
okay.
I'm just watching a ton of players I love leave. And then we're getting some players back. Like they're not bad signings, but I wouldn't say like they're making up for losing Chris Gray to retirement, losing the captain of the defense to retirement after the last captain of the defense left in free agency the year before. And then losing Rob Pennell to free agency. He was basically the core of the team. He was the quarterback.
Okay. Makes sense.
And he's the all-time assist leader in lacrosse history. He's number 3 in points in lacrosse history. And it sucks to see him go to the team I hate the most. I mean, it's
I was gonna say maybe because June is sort of like June, July is like the dead space of like the sports world, or the American sports world at least. So like maybe we'll throw a lacrosse episode in there in June.
I would love to. I think the playoffs are in August.
Okay.
Yep.
That'd be cool. I could do it. I could do a deep dive on lacrosse. I can crash course myself.
There you go. Yeah, just get real deep into lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
I will get real deep into UFL.
Okay. I was gonna say I think the UFL playoffs are in like June, which is funny because the UFL don't really have like playoffs. They have a playoff. It's like because there's only like 8 teams, so like there's like one playoff game and then a championship. So it's like it's kind of a funny bracket, but
the PLL also only has like 8 teams.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
they have a 6-team playoff. So
okay. So man, it sucks if you're the 2 teams that don't make it. Yeah.
And then not only the worst score differential in the league by a lot.
Yeah.
The next worst was the Philadelphia Water Dogs, who just won the championship a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
They went 2-8 with a score differential of -12, and then you jump all the way to 3-7. California Redwoods -32.
Jeez,
it was a rough season.
Yeah, it sounds rough. Yes, we'll have to come back to lacrosse because I know nothing. You said a lot of words there that I had zero knowledge of. I didn't even know there was a goalie in lacrosse. So
there is a goalie. It's okay. Lacrosse is like a mix between soccer and hockey.
I kind of knew that. Like it's sort of the little bits of it that I've seen. It sort of looks like a mix of hockey and soccer. For a long time, I thought that lacrosse and field hockey were the same thing, but they're not. Field hockey is a different thing.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first started playing lacrosse, I thought it was a different name for field hockey. I knew nothing about field hockey. When I first started playing lacrosse, I thought that it was another name for field hockey because I knew about field hockey.
Yeah, which I don't know. I don't know what field hockey is. I know it's like hockey but on a field, but yeah, I've never seen a clip of it. I don't.
I think the only clip I've seen is a joke clip of what if field hockey was played with a bowling ball.
Oh yeah,
and it's like people snapping their sticks on a bowling ball.
That's incredible. Okay, anything else you got to say about lacrosse?
Hopefully the Redwoods draft good, and I'm in hell.
That's okay. That's being a sports fan, isn't it? It's just. It's like 2 or 3 good seasons, and then you're in hell for 6. It's like that's the trade-off you get. Okay. So my next piece of news, we can go through this as quickly or as painstakingly as we want. I'm just gonna list what I think are sort of like the most interesting NFL offseason things that have happened so far. And then once I get to the end of it, you just tell me which ones you think are interesting, and we'll talk about those for a few minutes.
I think I'll stop you when you list them.
Okay, that's good. All right, so here we go. So first I got DK Metcalf to the Steelers.
Wait, that is crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
They also signed a cornerback that DK Metcalf constantly got into fights with last season.
Yes. Yeah. The Steelers love a crash out wide receiver. That's like their favorite thing. So
yeah, the only question is who's going to throw to him since Russell Wilson's gone and Justin Fields is also gone.
Yes, that was one of my other pieces. So I guess in line with that is Justin Fields has signed with the Jets. 2 years, $40 million. Russell Wilson is somewhere.
He met with the Browns. So.
Yeah, he met with the Browns. He's met, I think, I don't know if he's met with the Giants yet, but the Giants have some vague interest in him. And then, of course, the other floating, hanging Chad there is Aaron Rodgers. Horrible man, even worse quarterback, who is, for some reason, being courted by both the Steelers and the Giants.
Although rumors are his preferred destination is Minnesota.
Yes, which I would love. He needs
fantastic. Complete the Brett Favre arc.
Yeah, complete the trifecta.
Don't do the after career curriculum of stealing from people.
Stealing from old people. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers has already gone on track to like be even stranger than Brett Favre. I mean, he's already just a freak on his own, but yeah. I don't know if you could tell. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I think he sucks.
Respect him for how good he is. I'm sorry, how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike Tom Brady, I cannot go. I have no problem with this man.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing, right? Is like Tom Brady, like you can hate him for like being, really good, but like at least he doesn't do a bunch of weird stuff. Like he's not. He didn't overstay his welcome. Like one of his last season in the NFL, he fucking won the Super Bowl. So it's like
that was not his last season.
Or his second to last season, whatever it was.
Played for 2 more years. He was gonna retire the year after that, but
yeah,
I don't know. Somebody announced his retirement before him. He got to stick up his ass and play 1 more season for no reason.
But like Tom Brady never he was never doing like a darkness retreat or whatever, like and missing training camp to like go on an ayahuasca trip and like, all kinds of dumb stuff. So like you can like Tom Brady was a bit more innocuous, whereas like Aaron Rodgers is just this like Joe Rogan podcast dork who's like also playing in the NFL at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. As of recording, he is still in the ether. So that domino is going to fall at some point.
Well, look, he's going to announce his retirement, all right? And then a month later, he's going to sign with the Vikings. The cycle must be completed.
Oh, that'd be so good. Genuinely, I would love him to sign with the Vikings because as a Lions fan, I would love to beat Aaron Rodgers twice a year again. I think that's wonderful. Because last time we played Aaron Rodgers, we beat him so bad that he signed with the Jets. So that's his last pass as a Green Bay Packer was completed by Kirby Joseph of the Detroit Lions.
That's kind of like Tom Brady's last pass as a Patriot was a pick six and black.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So Justin Fields to the Jets. Any thoughts on that?
I give his agent a raise. I don't know how he got 20 mil a year.
I don't either. That's crazy.
He wasn't bad, but like
no.
20 mil?
20 mil is a lot for Justin Fields. Like, I feel like, I mean, you know, like the way NFL contracts work, I feel like it's not really 2 years. It's like 1 year, you know, it's like he's getting 1 year to kind of prove it. And then if he's terrible, they'll just, you know, cut him next year. But like, yeah, 40 million is a lot of money to pay a guy who struggles to complete a forward pass. I don't know.
No, here's the thing. Okay, I'm a Browns fan, so I actually paid attention to the Steelers last year.
Yeah.
He really wasn't bad. Now, he wasn't like a great passer, but his running game improved a ton.
Yes.
I don't know, like his decision making on when to throw a pass and when to actually use his athleticism improved a ton from when he was a Bears fan. When he was a Bear.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that happened. I guess it was just the Tomlin effect of going 9-8 every season, or 9-8, or going at least above 500 every season, despite the talent on roster.
Just get to 10-7. That's all you got to do if you're on the Steelers.
Yeah, I genuinely expected Justin Fields to get a backup, if not fringe starting role for maybe 12 mil a year, 20 mil a year. I think it's a bit of, I don't know if it's, I can't say it's an overpay because I'm looking at like what quarterbacks are making now and I'm looking at what Deshaun Watson is making.
Yeah.
But good job by his agent. Like his agent, give that man a raise. Give him 2 million of the 8 million per year he gave you.
Honestly. Well, and I think too, if you look at it like, because I think the guaranteed money is only like 30 mil. So
still though, that's
a lot of money. But technically, I guess he's only making 15 a season, which is kind of closer to like what you'd expect. But 20, like the up to 20 million a season is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of like because our former defensive coordinator is the new Jets head coach, Aaron Glenn. I kind of like that they have just kind of like cut bait and just like everybody's gone. They're just putting in a whole new kind of regime. I think Fields is a good like quarterback in the sense that like if he works out, you know, it's like, okay, great. We got this, you know, high upside, you know, quarterback
he's
relatively
still
young.
So like,
yeah,
he's still young. So if he works out, you have your quarterback for the future. It's not a bad signing. I just think that he made maybe 8 million too much a year.
Yeah, it's true. It is a little bit too much. So speaking of guys making probably too much, Josh Sweat signed with the Cardinals. It's something like 78 million a year, or not a year, 78 million total, but it's like I can't remember how many years it's for. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I think it's a 3-year contract.
Yeah, something like that. For the Eagles, like third best defensive player.
I wouldn't even say third best defensive, maybe for third best defensive lineman.
Yeah.
The Eagles defense is stacked. Like
it is.
It's crazy.
He's not as good as Jalen Carter. He's certainly not as good as Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean. He's a decent edge rusher, but that's a lot of money.
That is a lot to pay
that guy.
And of course, the Cardinals signed him. Like the Cardinals is where people go to retire.
Yes, yeah, that's true. But I will say it does lend credence to my prediction I made last episode.
Yeah,
that the Cardinals will take the NFC West this season. I hope that comes true. I have no real evidence that that's going to happen, but I just think it's funny. Speaking of the NFC West, so you got two more. Well, you got like three more. I guess two more really. Seahawks kind of things happened. So Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders.
Yes.
Interesting move.
I
They
don't
did-
hate it. It makes sense. Pete Carroll's the one who kept Geno Smith for so many years that I forgot
Yeah.
he was in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's old. He's going to go back to what he knows, and what he knows
Yeah.
right now is Geno Smith or Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is washed, so might
Yeah.
as well go with somebody who still has arm.
That's true. And Geno's not a bad quarterback by like any, he's
a perfectly fine bridge quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is he going to raise the ceiling? Like, not a lot, but like, he's certainly going to be better than Gardner Minshew or, what was the other guy? Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be better than those guys.
No. They started a third person last year. Who the fuck did they start?
I can't remember. They burned through some quarterbacks last season.
They did. Yeah. Did you see Gardner Minshew signed with the Chiefs?
He sure did. That's an interesting move. The
Chiefs are loading up on mediocre backup quarterbacks right now.
They sure are. They've made some interesting moves. I can't like they let one of their linemen go, and then
they traded him to the Bears. They traded Joe Thuney to the Bears.
Yeah.
The only reason why their offensive line was even halfway decent until the Super Bowl, and they traded him.
Yeah, so that was kind of one of the other ones I had. Well, let me finish with the Seahawks first. So then you also had Sam Darnold signing with the Seahawks, 3 years, $110 million, something like that. That's crazy money to pay Sam Darnold. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and it's cheaper than I thought it was going to be. But
it's cheaper than Geno Smith, and he's around the same skill level as Geno Smith.
That's true.
And who's the wide receiver they traded for or signed?
They signed Cooper Kupp from.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. The cap space they're saving from trading away DK Metcalf and Geno Smith for re-signing basically two players who are filling the exact same roles.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's good GM work right there. If you had to ask me, I think that's really good GM work.
That's pretty good. I like Cooper Kupp to the Seahawks. I think that works. He's older, but he's a good slot receiver. Nasty blocker. He's a good addition. Like if he can stay healthy, I think he'll be valuable in that because they already have what's his name, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's really good. So that offense should stay more or less the same. I think just the concern is like if Sam Darnold is gonna like go back to Sam Darnold, like if he doesn't have
how he looked in the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, just like a deer in the headlights. But there's the hope that he can maintain that. I think the only worry is that division. You've got Matt Stafford and the Rams, and then you've got maybe Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Probably.
I don't know what the 49ers are doing.
I don't know. They're just blowing up the whole thing. And then you've got the Cardinals. So I still feel like that division, it could go to any of those teams. But you're right. The more I think about it, it is good GM work. Like that is, you're basically getting the same team but cheaper.
Yeah. And if you want to say that they lost DK Metcalf, we're in a decently just say that they replaced Tyler Lockett with an improved Tyler Lockett because that's probably the closer comparison for Cooper Kupp than DK Metcalf. I'm like built like a fucking freight train, man. If you ask me, this is a pretty deep wide receiver class.
Yes,
coming out of college, so they can draft a wide receiver.
That's true. So the other big one. So I got two more. I don't have as much to say about these, but I'll just throw them out there. So Deebo Samuel got traded to the Commanders. Whatever.
Okay. No. I got opinions. I have opinions.
Okay.
That is a stupid fucking trade by the Commanders. Deebo Samuel looked slow, old, and hurt all of last season. He is not worth the money they are paying him.
No, and also, so here's my thing, right? I've been like watching all the offseason stuff, and I feel like the Commanders are very confusing because some of their moves, you're like, that makes sense, right? Like kind of upgrading your offensive line is good. Like, you know, like doing some stuff to your defense is good. But then like, yeah, like the Debo thing, you know, like letting some of your better defensive players walk. Like, I just kind of don't know. It feels like they think that they're like, okay, we made it all the way to the championship game. We're in this, you know, window. Let's just spend like as much money as we can.
To go all in.
Yeah.
But they forgot the definition of all in.
Right.
Like halfway through, they're like, we're going to go all in, but it's the Cowboys version of all in.
Yeah. Let's just sign a bunch of old guys. Yeah. It's like, okay. Because I feel like the way, like, you know, not to get into like GM philosophy, but I feel like a lot of the like championship teams that we've seen over the years are mostly teams that like draft and develop really well, right? Like that's kind of what the Eagles did. That's what the Chiefs have done forever, is like you just draft a bunch of dudes and you develop them and retain them, as opposed to like, let's just go grab like every, you know, mid-tier to slightly upper tier, you know, guy that's on the market and sign him for a ton of money.
I feel like the Eagles are neat 50-50 in between that, because like they went out, they made some big trades for some players. They signed some guys that were kind of on the fringe of maybe being good, and like in the defensive scheme they had, they were fucking elite.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Eagles, I don't know who they signed, but signed somebody to a 1-year contract that had like fucking 4 void years.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the most Howie Roseman fucking deal I've ever seen.
They're spreading like $600K over like 4 void years, which is crazy. I'm like, I've never seen that before in a contract. That's wild. They're only paying him like, I don't even know. It's like $8K this season, and then he's like get the $600K spread out over the rest of it. That's wild. And and he's not like, you know, like a whatever. He's like a linebacker that they just, you know, is like second string, or it's not like a crazy signing, but no. that contract is very funny. But yes, I agree with you about the Debo thing. I don't know what. Like, I guess they're trading for Debo from 3 years ago, not Debo last season, but
the Debo who said that he wants to be, he doesn't want to play running back anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of his whole value. Whatever. And then the other big one that to me is like anything. Devontae Adams signed with the Rams.
I think that's bad. I think that's bad signing.
Okay, interesting.
I don't want to be. I feel like I'm overly negative about the free agency this year, but I mean, I feel like everything interesting happened right before the free agency, and at this point, we're just kind of waiting for some guys that we know are going to end up landing somewhere.
Yeah,
to just kind of get out of free agency, like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. We're just kind of waiting on them to go somewhere.
Right.
Devontae Adams, I'm a little surprised he went to the Rams on overall.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know if he's got it anymore. Like, he seemed last year on the Raiders, he was like the only good part of that team.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Jets, and it looked like he didn't care about football at all. So it depends what Devontae Adams are you getting? Are you getting the first half of the season Devontae Adams where he was the only bright spot of the Raiders? Or are you getting the second half of the season Jets where it looks like he didn't care?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think because with the Rams, right, like they've got Puka Nacua, who is just this like anomaly. Of a receiver. Yeah. He's just this insane, catches anything you throw his way, like, you know, amazing athlete.
He reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald, but they didn't have to like spend a high draft pick on him.
That's true. Yeah, he was like a 4th rounder or something. Like,
he was a 5th rounder, I think.
5th rounder, yeah. So they've got him, and then they lose Cooper Kupp, right? They got rid of Cooper Kupp, and so I think they just needed, again, a second option for Stafford to just fling it to. So
yeah, the question is, will Adams be happy being a second option?
Yeah, that's the question.
It's Puka Nacua's team. Let's be real here. Receiving wise, it's Puka Nacua's team.
It is Puka's team, and I mean, you could be worse than being second to Puka Nacua, right? Like, I feel like if Devontae's like, I just want to win a ring before I retire, I feel like that's not a bad option. But we'll see how it plays out. It's not a ton of money, I don't think. I think it was something like 20 million a year or something crazy, not super crazy, but yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But that's all my NFL offseason.
Okay. My second story is also NFL offseason related,
Okay.
but we didn't really touch on
Yeah.
many of the signings. We did with the Steelers signings and everything,
Yeah.
but mine's mainly focused around the AFC North.
Okay.
I think the Ravens just kind of side graded. Like the entire Ravens offseason has just been like losing some players and then going, all right, here's some cheaper, literally the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's two major things I want to talk about. Number one is the Browns.
Okay.
I think I'll leave. No, never mind. I'm gonna hit it right now. Myles Garrett. That's an insane contract.
That is crazy money. 40 million a
I
year.
love Myles Garrett. Why is he the now second, but at one point number one highest paid player in the league that's not a quarterback? He's making like good quarterback money.
Yeah.
And with what you're paying Deshaun Watson, who the fuck are you going to actually be able to pay?
I don't know. That's crazy money.
And then the other thing for the Browns is actually, sorry, do you have thoughts about the contract?
I mean, it's like I understand it from the Browns' perspective in the sense that it's like you've got one piece that like fans can get excited about, right? And it's Myles Garrett, and it's pretty much nothing else. So it's like, yeah, just give him a blank check, and it's like whatever you want, we'll give it to you, right? That's like the only way to retain him. But from Myles Garrett perspective, I don't understand it because it's like, I guess from our, from me as a person who doesn't make millions of dollars, I'm like, I would rather make slightly less money and go somewhere where I can win as opposed to, and I'm not saying that the Browns won't be okay. It's just like,
you're okay. It's okay. You can say it.
Well, it's just like thus far, they've not done anything to show me like, oh yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs next season. It's like, I feel like he was in a position where he really seemed like he was like, I want to go, win.
Yeah.
And, whether it's just the GM was like absolutely refusing to trade him or $40 million just makes everything better. I don't know. But I just found that kind of confusing. I'm like, you were saying you wanted to go somewhere to win. And all it took was like a couple, like I feel like if you were like, oh, I can make 40 mil with the Browns, or I can go to, I don't know, the Commanders or the, whatever, and they're going to pay me 30 or they're going to pay me 28 or whatever. I'd rather go there and make less money and win than, but I don't know.
I think the craziest thing about this is, again, I love Myles Garrett. He's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big Browns fan. I'm a little off-put by this whole situation because I understood. We spoke about it last time. I 100% understood where he was coming from. The Browns look like they're heading downward fast, and he wanted to win a championship. But then he signed this contract and came out, made a statement that said, the goal is the same, bring a championship to Cleveland. Where the fuck was this attitude like a month ago? Like, what?
It was $40 million away. That's where it was.
$40 million away. The other thing I have is the trade for Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
Obviously, it's bench pieces being traded. I mean, it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who I have my problems with. I complained about him so much last season too. He got traded to the Eagles. Hopefully, he can make something there. I really liked him coming out of college. He just did not fit with the schemes. Decision making wasn't there, and I don't think he had a good mentor. I feel like Jalen Hurts could help him a lot. I know Jalen Hurts isn't like typical mentor age, but he's a guy who's very clear in the head of what he wants to do. He's very focused.
Yeah.
Distractions do not hit that man. That man cannot be distracted away from his goal. So I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I hope the best for him. I had my issues, but a lot of that came down to I just don't think he had the right mentorship and training.
Yeah.
I have spent the last 3 seasons making fun of Kenny Pickett. I don't know how to reconcile me making fun of Kenny Pickett towards him being my possible QB1.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like it's one of those moves where I'm like, I have no feelings about it. Like, it's just like,
It's like happened.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the Browns traded for the Steelers' old quarterback. That's the only reason why it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's also kind of like, it's like, yeah, he's Kenny Pickett. You know, he's not like the worst quarterback in the league, but he's
He took
not
a
like
knee during the Super Bowl. Let's be real here. Like he has a ring. Maybe he can bring some of that championship aura over to Cleveland.
he very much reminds me of like, I'm trying to think like I feel like this is like a bad comparison, but he kind of reminds me of like Andy Dalton or like like a guy like that, where it's like, yeah, he's fine. You know, he's not gonna like, I mean, he's done some goofy stuff, but he's not gonna like, you know, like run into the opposing end zone or something. Like he's you know, he's good enough. You know, if they don't manage to land Russell Wilson or whatever, like he'll lead them to 6 victories, easy. You know, like
yeah.
The reason you lose won't be Kenny Pickett. You know what I'm saying?
No, it won't be Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
He might not throw you any touchdowns, but he certainly won't be throwing you any picks either.
That's right. Yes.
God, and then let's move on to the real big news thing going on in the NFC North, which is the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be the first team to have a 4th ranked defense. They franchise tagged T. Higgins for an insane amount of money, and they're planning on giving him more.
Yep.
And then they signed Jamar Chase to the now largest non-quarterback player contract. That offensive line and defense was fucking terrible last year.
Yep.
There is no excuse. You cannot make any excuse. They were awful.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I have no idea. And like, so here's the thing too that I think about, right? Like, and I'm sorry to all the listeners who don't care about American football, and we're just talking about this for forever. Like, so last season, right? Like, to bring it back to my team, the Lions lost their star edge rusher midway through the season, right? Or not even midway, like a quarter of the way into the season. And the pass rush was just awful from then on, right? And like, as the season went on, you like rely more and more on your offense to like score as many points as possible and just keep the defense off the field, right? Well, we saw in the divisional round game that like when you come up against a team that can also just lay the points on the board, that's not a sustainable way of winning, right? Like you do need some sort of defense. And so for the Bengals to be like, we have one good defensive player, it's Trey Hendrickson, and we're going to let him seek a trade. It's like, you like Joe Burrow can't throw for 1,000 yards every game. You know, it's like you might get him to throw for 500 like 2 or 3 times a season, but you do need them to make like one stop a game. You know, you got to have like one interception or something happen. Like the Bengals can't just put 50 on everybody and expect to make it to the Super Bowl. It's like at some point that's going to give. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Bengals are doing.
I don't know. I feel like they're so focused on LSU, like greatness between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow that they're kind of forgetting they need other components on the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's like
they have what $100 million of cap space in those 2 players.
Yeah, something crazy. I'm like Joe Burrow's incredible and Jamar Chase is incredible, but like there's what 50 other people on the team, like
yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know. All right.
See, I thought you were going to say the biggest piece of AFC North news was Mason Rudolph going back to the Steelers.
No. That's definitely not the biggest piece. Maybe the hospitals in Pittsburgh should start like getting prepped, but I don't know about outside of that. Real quick before we go into our actual main topic that's not NFL free agency.
Yes.
I will be right back. I need to go to the
Okay. No problem. I'll pull my notes up so we'll be ready. Hello everyone. Welcome to the ad break. This is where Dugan goes to the bathroom. we're having this today's show was brought to you by FanDuel. Do you not like having money? Give it all away on FanDuel. Don't win any bets. Why would you? Sports betting. It's not legal where I live, but maybe it is where you are. Today's episode is also brought to you by beef. Comes from cows. Beef.
I love that we're trying to fit as many rookie production issues as we can into one episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Multiple crashes. I had to leave.
Don't worry, I did our ad read while you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, I still have my earbud in.
Oh, okay, you can still hear that. Okay, cool. I figured there was about a 50-50 chance, so. All right. Okay, we're back.
Yes.
Dugan's bladder is now empty.
Okay.
So,
cool.
so we're here again. Okay, so we're moving on to our main topic, which is March Madness. It's the biggest sporting event that happens in March. Here's a fun fact for you, just to lead us off.
Mostly happen in April though.
It does mostly happen in April, but I was going to say a fun fact for you. March Madness, the period from Selection Sunday to the end of it, is the biggest period on the calendar where men schedule their vasectomies. So they notice there's the most vasectomies get scheduled between Selection Sunday and the championship game, which I just think is fun.
That's very fun. Speaking of other fun things, there's a pizza place near where I live. I'm not going to say exactly the name. But they have a pizza called March Crabness.
Good.
Which is a crab rangoon pizza.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's so good. They replace pizza sauce with crab rangoon, and it's fantastic.
I'd give it a try. I'd try that. Is it real crab or is it imitation crab?
It's imitation crab, but it's like imitation crab rangoon mix, so it's not bad.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'd try that.
Yeah, I honestly every year I'm like, okay, how long do I have until March Crabness comes back? When New Year's hits, I'm like, oh man, I got a couple months.
Yeah, almost time for March Crabness.
Almost time for March Crabness.
That could also be an ad for STD prevention, March Crabness. Don't get crabs. Get tested, everybody. Anyway, yeah. So in the true spirit of the title of the show, I don't know ball very well. I'm not a huge college basketball fan. I do watch it. I tune in occasionally. I keep up with my alma mater. So I went to the University of New Mexico. So I keep up with their team. They're currently the 9th seed. So good for them in the NCAA tournament. But we said it at the top, but just to reiterate, Selection Sunday is tonight. So some stuff is not going to be 100% accurate. But we're going to go through this anyway. I guess just to lead it off, what team do you follow and where do they sit? And I guess what do you think their chances are of making it through the tournament?
Oh God. I am an IU basketball fan.
Okay.
And they just got eliminated.
Okay.
That horrible loss to Oregon is definitely going to knock them out. Mike Woodson has been a terrible coach. His contract's up. They're not retaining him. He's gone.
Okay. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. It's
that's okay.
Pain.
Yes. So like I just said, I'm a UNM basketball fan. They're kind of funny because just for context, the University of New Mexico is not good at sports generally. They have one good team and it's usually men's basketball. Occasionally we rank, so we do play in the Mountain West. So being in a being in a conference that's not the SEC, only like 2 or 3 teams usually make it into the big tournament. We were number 1 in the Mountain West, and then we lost in the Mountain West tournament. So we're still in the championship, we're still in the March Madness championship, but we did not win the Mountain West. Unfortunately, Boise State did, and they're now the current first team in, I think, or last team in, something like that. I think they actually replaced Indiana in the championship. So
Probably.
yes. So so UNM, just based on their track record, I have a very good feeling that they will lose their first match. That just tends to be the way it goes with them. They've got some good players. They're pretty good in the paint. They got some big boys, but yes, I don't feel confident about their chances. Because I just don't feel confident in the Mountain West in general. It's kind of that thing of like, when you don't have a lot of good competition, it's kind of hard to gauge like, how good your team actually is. But we'll see. They could pull an upset, I guess. I'm trying to see who they would probably play.
I don't know. I'm looking at this. It looks like Boise lost to Colorado State.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's classic me. Just saying the wrong thing. I don't know ball, I guess. I feel like we should have a buzzer or like a sound effect or something,
It's just every time we say something wrong.
Something incorrect.
Like, oh my God, what was it last episode? You called the Jokic Boban?
Bogdan or something.
Bogdan,
Yeah, I was thinking of, what was his name? It was there was a player named
Bogdanovich.
Yes, and he used to be on the Pistons. And I got him confused with Jokic because they both have like Slavic names. And I'm deeply racist. So no, I'm just kidding. Yes. So okay, so that's our teams. So there's a lot of teams. So it's like it's kind of rich for me to just be like, who do you think is going to win? But like
Houston.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Honestly, Houston's just been dominant this year. Like they've been absolutely dominant as a team. I don't know if I can point towards a single actual real flaw for Houston.
Okay.
I mean, okay. Let me pull some stats for Houston so I can back up my
okay.
back up what I'm talking about here. Right? I promise I'm not. They are 30-4 on the season.
Okay.
They just beat Arizona, who I know was a lot of people's like sneak pick for it. They walloped Arizona actually. Like it was 72-64, which sounds a lot closer than it was. But Houston is, for me, just so good as like in terms of just their sheer defense.
Yeah.
Their ability to stop people from getting into the paint. They got pretty decent. Like, they have half decent big man. Their guards are fan-fucking-tastic. And, I mean, right now they have 4 players averaging more than 10 points a game.
Wow.
And I feel like we're looking at a team, and of those 4 players, 3 of them have a 42% three-point shooting.
Jeez. Okay.
It's a team that for me feels like it's built to win. It feels like it's fine. They finally put all the pieces together to actually win. And honestly, I mean, some early favorites for the season. Auburn looks like it's kind of crashing out. They can't stop getting into penalty trouble. Like they keep making fouls.
Yeah.
Especially when they shouldn't. Alabama, I don't think they have the power this year. Maybe if they can retain a couple of the guys who look like they're going to go pro. If they can retain like a decent amount of talent, they might have something next year. I know people are really high on Florida right now. I don't see it. I feel like Florida is probably going to be like I don't know, Sweet 16 exit.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, I mean, I watch Big Ten. I don't think anybody from Big Ten is going to be going anywhere. I feel like they're all going to be pretty early outs. And then Duke,
Duke looks vulnerable. They almost lost to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like not so long ago. That was really close, and honestly, I'd say it was like probably on like a rough like call that they like that. It was a 3-point game, and it was 3 points because like yeah, I mean it was really just a 1-point game at the end, and then foul trouble. I don't see Duke winning at all. North Carolina could be a threat, but I mean I put them on the same tier as Duke, which is just below Houston.
Right. Okay. All right.
I come at you with knowledge.
No, I like it because again, like the whole point of the show is that like, you know, we each have like different levels of knowledge about different things, right? And so like, we'll get better at formatting this as we go. But like, if we had a thing that's like, you don't know ball, right? It's like, I don't know ball. Like when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I like it. It's good. Yeah, and didn't Duke just have one of their better players get hurt too?
Let me double check that. Let me look at Duke's injury report.
I think.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg, yes.
Yeah, it looks like he was hurt. But he ended up. Looks like he played through it, but it does look like they're kind of like there's a chance that like re-aggravation. I mean, it's always a risk when you like come back from playing hurt.
So this has nothing to do with the actual basketball, but I feel like for as long as I've been alive, Duke has always had like a pasty white boy as like their star player. I feel like for the longest time I would turn on Duke and I'd be like, there he is. There's that guy again. It's always just like a big pasty white guy. I don't know why that's a thing, but good for Duke.
Fuck. Maybe I don't know ball here. Wasn't JJ Redick the pasty white guy for a little bit?
Yes, I think he was. I think that's who I'm thinking of.
He was there for like 4 seasons, and like every time he traveled anywhere, he flipped. He just cursed out the crowd.
Yes,
the biggest villain in NCAA for a while.
Yep, he played it for the Blue Devils. That's right.
Doing a hell of a job coaching in LA.
Yes. We'll save the NBA for next month. Okay. That's...
I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong basketball.
When we do our NBA playoffs preview, we'll talk about the NBA. No, I was gonna say, so my sneaky team, and again, I don't really have any like evidence for this. It's just based on some highlights I was watching. I'm gonna go with Tennessee, and I'm not gonna throw any stats at you. I'm just gonna hit you with my favorite word when it comes to basketball, which is that they're scrappy, right? Like I was watching them play and they got dudes that are just like, they're just hustling 24/7. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're watching them and they're just like, every rebound is like, they're fighting for it. They're always like the play is never over until the ball is in the hoop. Like, I just feel like they've got that like scrappy, 100-mile-an-hour kind of thing. They got some nice big men who, I just in the like little bits that I was watching do some good work. That would be my like, if I had to put like money on one of them, I would put it on Tennessee. And again, I got no evidence for that. It's just based on
no,
some highlights.
I mean, hey, they're in the SEC championship game.
Yes.
Against Florida, which is actually happening right now. I just pulled it up.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right on.
Yeah, no, but I can see that, honestly. I think they need to I think there's some things that they could definitely clean up as a team. I think their like overall shooting ability is a little lackluster. When they're hot, but when they are cold, they are cold.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. I can definitely see them making a deep run.
Yeah, I'm not saying they'll necessarily make it like all the way to the championship, but actually, I just said something that I was interested in learning. Does your state allow sports betting?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever participated in it?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to hear about that because New Mexico is not legal in New
Oh, okay.
Mexico. At the very least, it's not legal to do like sports betting on mobile. If you want to go to a casino, usually on like tribal land, you can do sports betting like with an actual sports book. But you can't do it like on FanDuel or whatever. So I'd be interested to hear like how that works for you.
I'm about 50-50.
Okay.
Like win rate, I'm about 50-50. Every lacrosse season, I make a single bet at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
If I lose, I'm done for the season. If I win, I'll keep betting every week until I lose.
Yeah.
The most successful one I had was actually it was a couple years ago when the Lions had their breakout season.
Yeah.
They beat the Chiefs to start the season.
Yeah.
I bet on them to win the first 3 games.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I just went back to back on the Lions. I was like, I'm high on the Lions right now.
Good.
I had no evidence for it. They went like 9-8 the previous season.
Yeah.
Something like that. And randomly at the beginning, I'm like, I bet they'll beat the Chiefs.
Oh man.
I don't bet like big money. I bet like maybe $10 on a game, and then if I get nothing back, I get nothing back. It's not too harsh.
No, I think that's fair. Like I'm curious about it because like, I listen to sports podcasts and it is just like a constant bombardment of like bet on FanDuel, sign up for, whatever the fuck. And it's like, I'm always curious about like how many people are actively participating in it because I feel looking at the format of it, a lot of it's like I feel like if you're actually really good at sports betting, like they won't let you, like they'll be like, all right, you're done.
You would think so. But like with a lot of these online gambling, with that fact that it's online, anybody, they make so much money that if you're really good at gambling, you can just kind of keep going. You don't cost them too much money because so many people go in thinking that they're gonna hit big and then they don't.
Right.
I mean, you can go on Twitter, X, you can go on that and see people constantly posting about how like they bet like $2,000 on this stupid like bet that nobody in their right mind should make, and or like they bet like their life savings on it, like expecting to like win big, and then it just doesn't hit. I don't know. Like I use BetMGM. For no particular reason other than it was the first one I installed.
Okay.
And it's fine. I don't see like the hype behind like gambling big.
Yeah.
I think the most I would ever bet on something is if I ever got like a pure confidence of I thought I knew the outcome of something, maybe I put a $50 bet. I don't know if I'd ever go bigger than that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like like the way you do it probably is like the smartest, like, $10, $5 at a time, like whatever you can afford. Because if I
lose, I'm out for the season. Like I don't even bet for the rest of the season.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like where people get in trouble is the like, well, I won $10 last time, so I'll just put $100 on it and then I'll, whatever. And it's like
they get into that mentality of, oh well, the odds are gonna come around. Eventually, I'm gonna hit.
Yeah.
Well, every gambler stops right before they win big. No.
Oh man, yeah. But yes. So, okay, I was just curious about that because, like I said, you can't do it here. So, I know
NCAA basketball is like really big.
Yeah.
And everything.
So there you go, everybody. If you're a sports bettor, put your life savings on Houston. And,
no, God, no.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't blame me for that.
Okay. Anything else you got to say about the NCAA?
I mean, I got a few things.
Okay.
I feel like I like the tournament style.
Yes.
I like the fact that there are a decent amount of teams that everybody knows, but every year there's that team that just shows up that does like way better than expected.
Yeah.
Like even if they don't make it to like the Elite Eight, like just a smaller team will generally always make it at least to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you have the first seed lose to a 16 seed that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And You just don't see that in many other sports.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of other sports are not this big. You don't, but like even other college sports, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of college sports, it's like the big names are the big winners.
Yes. Yeah, I think especially like because the two big college sports are basketball and football, right? And it's like the I was explaining to my wife the other day that like college football is so confusing in terms of like the playoff system and the bowl system and like, you know, but what's frustrating about it is there are really only ever like 4 teams that are consistently like, you know, good. Like you don't get a lot of upsets in college football. Whereas with college basketball, like you said, at least once a season during the tournament, there is a big seed that gets upset by some small school that just out hustles them, right? And it's like you don't get that in a lot of other sports, especially when. And I feel like March Madness is fun because like people who don't even care about basketball will usually watch March Madness just because there is so much energy in it. And like college basketball, I feel like is more fun than professional basketball until you get to the playoffs. Like the NBA is just dudes sleeping through the regular season until they get to the playoffs and then they like turn it on, you know? Whereas
I mean, there's a reason why like playoff LeBron, playoff Kobe, playoff Jordan, like there's a reason why like for big players we have like those monikers of playoff blank
right.
in the NBA. It's because players, even great players who like average stupid numbers, they sleepwalk. They're basically sleepwalking through most of the season. You don't see too many people. I don't want to say Kobe's ever sleepwalked through a season, but like Shaq, he definitely sleepwalked through a few of those regular seasons. Like, come on, let's be real here. You see the star players just kind of sleepwalk their way because they know that they're on a good enough team. They know if they play half decent, they'll make it to the playoffs. Playoffs is when a lot of teams, but like, and they'll turn it up. But I feel like in college basketball, those smaller schools, actually pretty much any school, because if you don't play near perfect as a bigger school, you got big schools around you, you're gonna get knocked out anyways. There's so few slots for how many teams there are in college basketball that every single team is trying their hardest to make it to the tournament. Now, seeding will, like, some teams will try hard because they want a good seeding, but like if you see a small school there, like that isn't bad to start the season, and like they have a shot about halfway through, watching those small schools fucking hustle to win is insane. You don't really see that with the pros. Like you see these kids put their lives on the line. Like every single part of them goes into playing.
Yeah.
And you don't see as much of that in the pros.
That's true. And I think too, part of it is that like in college, I think basketball as well as football, like, you know, there's only so many professional spots, right? And so like in college sports, you do see these kids like putting their hearts out into it because this is probably their last chance at playing that particular sport at like a high level, you know? So like a lot of these schools, you know, there's like, unless you're like, again, like a Big Ten and SEC, there's maybe one player a team that's going to get drafted, you know, like unless you're like Auburn or Duke or whatever, like you might get like 2, right? Like, but every other school, it's like, hey, you're lucky if you get one player who gets drafted. Mm-hmm. So every other school is like full of players who are like, this is my last chance to play basketball, like at this high of a competition level. And so there is something fun about that, about watching them just put their ass into gear and just go for it. And I do like too the March Madness format, which is it's single elimination, but it's such a big bracket that like you're basically getting games every single day until, you know, you get to those later stages where it's fewer games. But it does feel special. It's like a 2-week period where you're just like, oh man, there's just like basketball on every day. Like something new and exciting is always happening.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, I'm a Notre Dame football fan for college. I watched the playoffs pretty intently because I want to see. I mean, the playoffs happened. I mean,
yeah,
I was there for the hype of the Notre Dame games but like even heading into that final game, I think I told you like I want Notre Dame to win. I think Ohio State's gonna.
Yeah.
It's just like by the time you narrow it down to the final four, you kind of like in college football, you kind of know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
I don't think like during the old 4-team playoffs, like I ever like had a surprise. Like there's never a surprise winner. They're the top 4 teams, like
Right.
and out of those top 4 teams, one of them is clearly better than the others. Georgia.
Right.
But I don't know. Like with college basketball, there is something special about March Madness that you don't see. I don't think you see it anywhere else. Maybe the World Cup, but like
Yeah, definitely the World Cup. But yes.
these players who they never know if they'll be back up on that stage.
Right.
They never know exactly how it's going to look the next season. They never know if they'll be able to play the next time that comes around. They play their hearts out, and there's a drive there that I feel like you don't see in many other sports.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like, yeah, because but I think you made a good, like, I feel like the World Cup is definitely like the next closest, like the World Cup is the only time I watch soccer, right? It's just like, I can't say I've ever turned on just like an MLS game or whatever. Like, but I do turn on the World Cup just because it's like, oh, it's, fun. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of guys who are playing that probably don't play, professional soccer otherwise.
No. No. Let's not get it wrong here. All those guys play professional soccer.
Well, yes, yeah.
But they don't play it at the same level as
yes. Well,
that.
yes.
You get you'll get guys from an Argentinian league playing alongside Messi.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's Messi.
Yeah, Messi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Messi. I was like, wait a minute, did I fuck that up? No, it is Messi. Like, because like with it, it's the same thing. These players are playing for something that's so important to them.
Yeah.
The World Cup, getting that for their country.
Yeah.
That you just don't see that in other sports. I mean, like you just don't. It's a level of wanting to win you don't see in many other sports. And I feel like March Madness captures that in the American audience.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I feel like I had something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. Let me take one last look at my notes. Oh, I just think it's funny that, like, if you look at the conference breakdown, it's like SEC, 13 teams, Big 10, 9, Big 12, 8, Big East, 5, Mountain West, 4, ACC, 3. It's like, yeah. There's that whole, level of competition thing. But yes. Anything else you got to say about March Madness?
It's going to be fun.
It will be fun. Maybe at some point we'll do like a short update, like on who won or like favorite teams we enjoyed watching or something. Since we only do this monthly, maybe we'll do like a mid-month update or something. I don't know. That could be fun. Okay, cool. Well, besides March Madness, anything you got coming up that you're going to be watching?
I don't know, honestly. March Madness is really what I focus on now. And then I guess NHL season's heading towards its and it's not there yet. It's got like a couple months left, but NHL season's coming to a close. The Golden Knights are doing fantastic. They're leading their division. I can't complain much more than that.
The Red Wings have fizzled out as usual. So
nothing new there.
Nothing new there. Yes, UFL season starts on the 25th, baby.
Okay, all right. March 25th.
March 25th. Spring football is back.
I will be seated. I should hopefully be able to catch at least a decent amount of those games so I can be informed.
You might be able to, because they play on like ESPN and Fox, I think. So just be aware some of them do happen in the middle of the day on like during the week. So that's random. It's kind of like baseball where they're just like, I don't know, we're just playing all the time. And the MLB season starts soon as well.
I don't care about that until September.
Yeah, it really does not heat up until September, but it's something to watch. Yes. There we go.
Yep.
That does it for this episode. If you liked it, you can feel free to leave us a nice review. 5 stars helps out the show. You can leave a review right in app. So if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podcast Addict, whatever. This episode will be going up on YouTube as opposed to last episode, which I just never uploaded in time. So look forward to that. There's a link in the description with all of our social media links. So Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Yes, you can listen to my other podcast, Viva La Action, everywhere that you can find podcasts. Anything you want to promote, Dugan?
Maybe not this time, but I might have something for next time. I got something in the works.
Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Yes. Very cool. Thank you all so much for listening. And you can send us an email. I think we're at wdkbpod@gmail.com. That's a little confusing, but it's okay. It's in the description. Just go click on that. Yes. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next month. We'll probably be talking NBA playoffs.
All right. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think that sounds fun. So thanks for listening. Go Sports. Woo! Woo!